What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cover 3 podcast, a little MASH unit edition. We do not have Sterling Bennett with us today, and I'm trying to make this thing go as smooth as possible. Dre's not feeling so well, so we're going to try to do the best we can with what we got. I hope you guys stay for the next hour or so, talking some latest Niners news.
Well, it's like the Niners. We got what we got. We just got to make the best of it and just try and get in the playoffs, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
It's hard to imagine that this Sunday is the last bit of football till September, like real football.
You know, I really hate that the Seahawks are in the Super Bowl. It actually makes me want to watch it even more because I want to see them lose.
Same.
So for me, I have something to watch this Sunday because I would love nothing more than to see Seattle fucking lose.
I am pulling for the Patriots, which I never thought I would admit in my life. It would be like go ahead.
The last time I rooted for the Patriots was when they played Seattle. So it's like, hey, why not?
The only time I ever rooted for the Patriots was their first Super Bowl because I was a 49ers fan, of course, and then they were playing the Rams, right?
Yep.
I didn't go anywhere during that Super Bowl. I was really sick, and I remember watching the Super Bowl in bed. My mom would I don't know if she brought me up like chicken soup or something. I literally just propped myself up against the wall, and I was just like, please let the Rams lose. And then they lost. So, not to be over, to shine the light on I can't even frame what I want to say. Let's just get into the coaching hire, the defensive coordinator hire of Raheem Morris. Last time we streamed last week with me, you, and Dre, and even Mike, we were, contemplating who would be the best fit. Most of us thought, at least me and Mike, thought it was going to be Gus Bradley, just based on the Niners' track record of never doing the, we always say the Niners play it safe. According to some people, maybe the Raheem Morris pick is safe, and we'll get to that in a second. But what was your overall thoughts initially when they hired Raheem Morris?
I mean, I wasn't exactly upset about it. I mean, I was cool with it. The guy's an experienced coach. He's been a head coach, twice now. Both times have been a failure. But the guy, he's a former player. He's got a lot of experience. He was a head coach with Tampa Bay, head coach with the Atlanta Falcons. He's been a defensive backs coach. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's helped win a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Now, some would say that he kind of inherited a good defense, but still, you got to be able to maintain that. And so, he did. And I think it's a guy that, look, he's a player's coach, and I think he'll be able to blend in well with the guys that we have. Guys like Fred and all them, they want a coach who's more of a player's coach, a guy who's in the trenches with them and wants to be on the sidelines. So I think in that, having said that, I think he's the right choice for them. And I know there's been talk about Jim Schwartz. Most of us were like, oh, Jim Schwartz. I don't think he was really ever going to come here. The fact that they signed Raheem Morris as soon as they did tells me that Kyle and John, they didn't want to wait around. They didn't want to wait through multiple interviews. They didn't want to wait through all this shit. They knew, hey, look, we lost Robert Saleh. Let's get Raheem Morris in here. Kyle's like, I know him. I got a great relationship with him. I've worked with him before. I trust him. And so with that being said, I think that's the reason why they went so quickly, is because, for one, they did not want to wait around. They didn't want to have to run the chance of losing him. And two, I think Kyle, that's the guy Kyle wanted if Saleh was going to leave. And so that's the guy they got.
Yep. And CJ Gray, for those of you who don't know, or if you're going to watch this on replay, Jim Schwartz resigned as a defense coordinator of the Rams today. And it looks like he's going to sit out about a year. At least that's the initial report.
Well, is that what you got to do when you resign? You have to sit out for the whole year? That's pretty crappy if you ask me, but, whatever.
If he's I guess because he's under contract. I know. They're paying him to... I guess it's their choice. I don't know how that works, man. I don't know how the inner workings of what the league can actually get away with if somebody resigns from a post that they paid money for them to be at. Oh, we paid you to be there. Oh, you don't want to be here? Well, and you can't work anywhere else.
Well, to me, there's no way that San Francisco, if not any other team, did not reach out to Jim Schwartz or his representatives to find out what he wanted to do. And I'm sure that there was already talk about he's likely going to resign. But again, I mean, this had to be a situation in which Kyle wanted to have this guy here. I mean, we saw last season, Kyle wanted Robert Saleh. He didn't give a shit about anybody else. He was like, it's Robert Saleh or bust. And if Saleh went somewhere else last year and took a head coaching job, I don't know what they were going to do. I think they were saying Brandon Staley could be the head coach or the defensive coordinator, and it was like, oh God. Which he actually did a pretty good job this season with the New Orleans Saints. I just think, Kyle likes to have guys that he knows, guys that he trusts, guys that he's comfortable with. And I think he also wants guys that are going to keep his guys around. He wants Chris Kocurek. He wants all these assistant coaches that he's been working with. He wants to keep his crew together. And he knows that if he brings in a guy like Raheem will come in, join his team, and maybe add a couple of pieces here and there to help round out his coaching staff and maybe even his defense as well. So I think at the end of the day, Kyle wanted Raheem. They interviewed him, like what they heard. Let's do it. And that's why they went with Raheem Morris.
I wonder how much autonomy he's going to have as far as coaches, if he can bring any guys of his own in, or if it's just a, plug and play type situation where.
I don't know, but I feel like if they would have brought in Jim Schwartz, he would have wanted to bring in his own guys. Like he would have said, okay, well, if I get the job, these, I want to bring in these guys, or I'd want to switch out these guys for guys that I know, and I have a certain scheme that I like to do. I mean, everyone's saying, well, he does the wide nine as well, but it's just a different coach, different coaching style, and so maybe that wasn't really cohesive with what Kyle and those guys wanted to do, and so they knew Raheem would be more flexible because they're friends and they know each other, have a relationship, and I mean, look, every time Kyle has had a competent defensive coordinator who he's had a good relationship with, comes Robert Saleh, DeMeco Ryans. Everything has worked out great. Everything. Defensively. When they went outside his little coaching pool and they brought in Steve Wilkes, they had some issues. They didn't quite see things eye to eye. Only lasted 1 year. They got to the Super Bowl. And then all they knew at the end of that game was, we're going to fire Steve Wilkes. And then they went with Nick Sorensen, and that was just a huge joke because the guy was completely underqualified for the position. That's what I believe, is that, I think Sorensen, one of those guys where you talk to him and he'll tell you everything you want to hear, like, oh yeah, this guy gets it. And then he gets out there and you're like, okay, maybe this is a bad move. I mean, he was completely overwhelmed that 1 year he was with us. It was bad.
He's like the good interview at a job who you think he's the greatest thing, and then when it comes to actually doing the job, he's absolutely horrible. It's like
absolutely horrible.
He totally he talked himself into the building, so to speak.
Yeah, and plus, look, Kyle doesn't want to be having to listen in on what like with Sorensen, he had to listen in on like what he was saying, how he was calling the plays. He's like, holy shit, don't fuck this up, dude. He wants to be able to when the defense goes out there, he wants to have a defensive coordinator that he can trust. He can say, "Hey, go take care of shit. I'm gonna go look at my plays and I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do." And it gives him more flexibility to focus on the offense, and that's what it comes down to.
Morris is a good hire, though, and he could be here for years. I agree. Great. Have someone stick around. Changing coaches every year is annoying. I think my initial. That's funny. Me and Mike did the show Monday, and Mike was initially happy, and then he did the deep dive like a lot of people did with the statistics, and it's not great. He's had one top 10 year, and that was with the Rams, the year they won the Super Bowl. I look at it as he was the best option out there for the people that were out there. I know that sounds kind of like not the best way to make a hire, but like, were you going to go with Joe Woods or Gus Bradley?
I think they could have gone with Gus Bradley, and that would have been, I don't know how good that would have been. I mean, maybe he would have done well. I mean, the guy's he was the D coordinator for Legion of Boom. That's what he's got going on his resume, his biggest highlight. But I think, if, like, let's say this podcast, right? Let's say, or let's say I have a podcast and I'm doing it, with, I have a co-host and we've been killing it, right? But then, that co-host leaves. Am I going to be like, hey, I want to get either, I'm just throwing names out there. I want to get either Larry Krueger or John Chapman in the seat next to me. It's like, yeah, I would love that. But more than likely, I'm going to go with Aaron because I know him. I'm comfortable with him. He understands the way, we have a rapport together. And I know that, like, I'm going to be comfortable and we're going to have a good time and everything's going to be great. I don't know those guys. Are they really good? Yeah, they're great. But I don't fucking know those guys. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I think that's kind of what Kyle was doing to a degree, not completely. But I think going into it, I'm sure they had conversations and they said, who's the guy you want? He probably said, I want Raheem. That's the guy I really want.
I know one person that was extremely disappointed in the hiring, and that was Dante Whitner. I want to play the video. He thinks it was a safe hire. He does not like it. So I'm going to play that video, and then I'll talk about some of the statistics that aren't that great. It sounds like me, like I hate the hire, and I don't. I actually really like the hire. But I mean, you got to be honest with what it is and what, the factors are that are involved. So I'm going to play the Dante Whitner clip for us, and then we'll get back to talking.
Okay. Achieve success without merit. I truly believe that the 49ers will be looking for their next defensive coordinator, mainly because they hired based on friendship and they went with the safe bet here. Now you say he might have earned it, Whitner. He might have earned it. His track record as a defensive back coach in Washington, 30th ranked pass defense, 26, 28, 24. He goes and get nepotized again in Atlanta with his college coach, Dan Quinn. 250 plus yards given up, 19th ranked. Then Dan Quinn gets fired and you assume the role bottom ranked in defense again that year. 2021 comes. McVay makes a call and gives him the responsibility of taking on Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey in the #1 defense in 2021. None of it was earned. None of it was merit. Now you're the 15th, 16th, 17th ranked defense in the league with the same players. And the only reason you win the Super Bowl is because you had an all-world offense that year. So then you go to Atlanta, 23rd in points in 2024, 23rd in yards, 22nd in pass defense, 31st in sacks, 2025, 19th in points, 15th in total yards. How does this make the San Francisco 49ers better?
Needless to say, Dante Whitner does not like the...
Yeah, he didn't like the hiring. He was like, wait a minute, hold on. And I get what he's saying because, look, he's looking at the overall numbers of his defensive rankings on the teams he's been on. And I get what he's saying, but at the same time, numbers don't always tell you the truth about, how things are going. And I think hiring Raheem is a really good hire. And sort of what CJ Gray was saying, it feels like Raheem will be here. And unless the Niners turn it around and win a fucking Super Bowl next season and their defense is stellar,
they're going to lose him. They're like,
then he's gone. Then he's gone. Yeah. Even if their defense is pretty good and they make it to the Super Bowl or deep in the playoffs or, there's a good chance he's gone again. But I think this is a guy that could be here probably a good 2 years, maybe 3 if we're lucky, and then he'll move on. Anytime you have a successful team, your coordinators are going to get poached. I mean, look at the Eagles. They've had to get rid of some guys. A lot of times they bring in guys who suck. And I see other teams out there. Look at the Lions.
Look at the Niners of the late 80s.
Yeah.
Ray Rhodes, Dennis Green, Mike Holmgren. They had
Shanahan.
Mike Shanahan on their staff at one point. Pete Carroll on their staff at one point. Good teams usually employ really good coaches, and really good coaches from good teams usually get jobs. That's just how it works.
And look at the Detroit Lions, okay? So Detroit has this magnificent year until the Niners fucking shut that shit down and came back and beat them, right? And what did everybody say? Everybody was like, well, they lost this game, yeah, and that sucks. But they'll be back. they're built to win now. They haven't even been close. And so now, like last season, they're like, I saw the fans, the Lions fans saying, "Oh, I can't believe we lost Aaron Glenn. I can't believe we lost Ben Johnson. This sucks, dude. People keep taking our coaches." Yeah, that's what happens when you have a good team, is that other teams want them so they can replicate what they did there on their team.
Yep.
And when you look at Kyle Shanahan, one of the benefits of having Kyle Shanahan is that Kyle calls the plays. He is the offensive coordinator. Yes, he has one in Clay Kubiak, who's basically like his assistant, but Kyle calls the plays. So really, he has to rely on a defensive coordinator. He's not one of these culture guys, even though I think he does a good job at that. He's not a Dan Campbell who leans on his coordinators, a Nick Sirianni who leans on his coordinators. And you've seen when those guys are surrounded by bad coordinators or guys that are not as good as their previous coordinators, they suck.
Mm-hmm.
They get ousted out of the playoffs immediately. And then what happens? Those coordinators get fired. Because it's like, oh, I guess you're not good enough. Well, look, every coach is different. But Kyle Shanahan, he's a player's coach. The players like him, unless you're, Brandon Ayuk. And he's a mastermind when it comes to coordinating the offense. So this is a guy you don't want to get rid of because he covers someone. He covers your head coach and your offensive coordinator. He covers those bases. And so now all you got to worry about is who's going to be our DC. And that's what we got to worry about. So look, he likes Raheem. I'm going to trust that Kyle made the right choice, but I think that Raheem is a good hire. So
do I.
I'm happy with it.
I don't believe this thing where there's no merit. I mean, he's been a head coach. He's been a coordinator. He's been coaching a long time. I think it qualifies him to be a defensive coordinator.
I think so. I mean, the guy's experienced.
It's like a guy coming out of college who's never coached professional athletes and him getting the DC job over a proven name. Then you're like, yeah, he doesn't. Listen, I know everybody was all, having a wet dream over the fact that we could possibly have a guy like Jim Schwartz, but the dude he was still with the Cleveland Browns as of today, and he resigned from his post, and it looks like maybe the Browns are not allowing him to coach this year. The Niners couldn't wait for that. So I hate to say that they picked the best candidate available, but they essentially picked the best candidate available, and I'm glad they did. I'm glad they didn't go with the in-house hire. I think you're always only as good as the players that you have playing defense for you. So, I mean, Robert Saleh is an incredible DC, but the Niners defense was very average this year, sometimes below average. And he's like this great, unbelievable DC, but you need the players. So I think that's part of it too. I'm looking forward to how he's going to go about, using some of this, because he likes to do a lot of multiple stuff. 3-3-5, 3-4, 4-3. So, I mean, it's something new. It's not the same exact thing every single year with D'Amico and with Saleh. And then eventually, you go to Sorensen, who's pretty much running the exact same thing. And then coming back to Saleh this year. It's going to be a little different, which different sometimes is good. So.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be fine. I mean, look. This is setting the bar pretty low, and I'm not trying to say that, but it couldn't be any worse than Nick Sorensen. So, we saw Steve Wilkes. We've seen D'Amico Ryans and Robert Saleh. It's not like we're going with a first-year coordinator. I heard a lot of people out there saying, like, what about KJ Wright? KJ Wright is still inexperienced to be a defensive coordinator. He's been a quality, not quality concerned. He's a QC or whatever the fuck coach, and quality control. That's what it is. He's been a quality control coach for a while now, for a couple of years. So maybe he will later on, but it's still too early. And people say, they should hire Richard Sherman no. Until Sherman gets out there and starts coaching and becomes like a defensive backs coach or a quality control coach, there's no way they're going to put him in there and be like, all right, Sherm, go. He's going to be, what the fuck? What am I doing? No.
The Niners also lost Daniel Bullocks, their DB coach.
Yeah, but that sounds like he wanted to leave. That sounds like he wanted to go elsewhere because it wasn't like they fired the guy. All of a sudden, he was just like, oh, he's off the coaching staff, and now he's over there with fucking Green Bay. I think the guy just wanted a change of scenery, or who knows.
Yep, and that's another position the 49ers should be looking into. Some people think maybe they bring back Joe Woods. Speaking of coaching,
Icky Woods is who they should bring in.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, the Icky Shuffle. I know exactly what you're talking about. So name that I...
Real quick. You remember that commercial? Where it was like, oh, fuck. What was it? Where he's at the grocery store?
Yes, and he like spikes. I don't know if it's like a turkey or a watermelon or something.
When they call your number at the grocery store, it's like 15. 15, that's me. Woo! Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
I remember that. Yep.
That was the best. It was like, yes.
That was the 80s version of the Dirty Bird, pretty much.
That was a great commercial.
There was a coaching move that happened today that I didn't know anything about because I didn't know he existed. Roman Sapolo, Jesse Sapolo's son, has been named assistant O-line coach for the 49ers, previously with the Miami Dolphins. I had no idea Jesse Sapolo had a son and that son was a coach. Little Nepo hire for the 49ers, of course. They like to hire people that are second generation, Kubiaks, Shanahans, you name it, the Niners do it. And now we have a Sapolo in the building. I just thought I'd mention that. No real importance for it.
What is he the coach of?
Offensive line, assistant offensive line coach.
So he's gonna be helping out Chris Forrester. Yeah, I mean, hey, that's cool. When I saw it, I was like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, I was like, hey, his dad was pretty good, and that was pretty much it. His dad was great.
Maybe it will make Malo. Maybe the line will get better with him joining the coaching staff. Who knows?
Speaking of players from the past, our guy, or my guy, I don't know, it's your guy too, you're close in age. Roger Craig is officially a Hall of Famer. Of course, we all found that out a couple days ago, but they made it official with the door knock. You had Charles Haley and Ronnie Lott welcome him to the Hall of Fame. Of course, he's going to be inducted this summer. I want to play the video real quick. And definitely a well-deserved nomination. I don't know what you'd call it. Invite to the Hall of Fame. Achievement, yeah. But I was a huge Roger Craig fan growing up, so let's talk about that in about 2 seconds. But I want to play the clip first.
Yeah.
Ronnie Lott, yeah! Welcome to the 2026 Hall of Fame, bro!
These guys help me out all the time, so being in the Hall of Fame with them, I'm so amazed.
I don't think you guys, for those of you who are younger, realize the greatness of the 49ers from the 80s and 90s, just the amount of players that were Hall of Famers or great or all-pro. Niners have I know a lot of us talk about the past, and 49er fans always talk about the past, and it's because the past of the 49ers is so rich with incredible history, winning history, with so many players that were probably the best at their position. Montana, Jerry Rice, you got Charles Haley, who played for the Cowboys and the 49ers, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig, someone who revolutionized the running back position kind of earlier. He kind of did what eventually Marshall Faulk became and Christian McCaffrey. So that was great. I got kind of emotional watching that because that's like my childhood right there. Like, all those guys are all really old men now, and I'm really old. So, yeah. That was pretty fantastic. I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, no, it was badass. I think that sorry, I was texting family because they're ordering Chinese food. I was like, "This is what I want." What's up, Casey Lima? No, it's great. And one of the things that's been brought up a lot is that, the Niners, that the 80s Niners are not heavily represented in the Hall of Fame. And so getting more of them in there is well deserved. And Roger Craig, I mean, dude, he's the first running back in NFL history to be 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in one season. I mean, the guy was really, really talented, and I'm glad to see him in there. And the sad thing is, for me at least, is that when I think of Roger Craig, as much as I adore Roger Craig and love Roger Craig, when I think of Roger Craig, you know what I think of? I think of him fumbling the ball against the New York Giants in the playoffs. Oh, I remember as a kid watching that. I was like, why did he do that? What's going on? But overall, though, and really that comes back to, typically when you win championships, best thing on earth. But what are the ones that stick with you the most?
The ones you don't win.
Is the ones you don't win. That was the line that Jerry West used on Kevin Durant when Durant came to the Warriors. He told him that, and he said that was him telling him that was like, you know what, you're right, let's do it.
Well, I want to let you know some of his career statistics.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
1,991 carries for 8,189 yards, 4.1 yards a carry, 56 touchdowns. Receiving 586 catches, 4,911 yards, 17 receiving touchdowns. Total scrimmage yards for his career, about 1,300. I mean, that's stupid.
It's well deserved that he's in. I mean,
did have a lot of fumbles though. He had 42.
Fuck, he was. I remember the biggest one.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, like as amazing as this is, to me, it's amazing that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't understand that. I don't. With the accomplishments that he's made as a head coach for the Patriots, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. What's his name, Bob Kraft, whoever. I can give two shits about him, but Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer, like how does it? What? Like this guy was a head coach of like one of the longest dynasties in NFL history. Well, he got there like 9 times and he had 7 Super Bowls. Like that's incredible. And it wasn't like he went there with a beefed out team every single year. The year he did have a beefed out team, they went undefeated and they lost in the Super Bowl. But you saw him win some tough games. The games against Seattle, they should have lost that game. They won. The game against the Rams, the first one, everyone was like, oh, they're going to lose this game. They're going to get their ass whooped. They won. That was great. And then they had some in between that were just fucking lame. Like the one against the Eagles was like, this is a boring game. But anyway, that to me, that's crazy. That's crazy that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That doesn't make any sense to me at all.
It's jealousy. People that he beat. It's people that he beat, and they're upset that he's a 6-time Super Bowl winning coach. Just jealousy. That's all it is.
They're like, he's an asshole.
So what?
Who cares? You got it done.
It's funny. I was watching an old video of Bill Parcells getting after a kick returner. And me and my brother, we just loved that kind of like old school, like, and to some extent, Kyle's like that. Kyle's not afraid to yell and scream and curse out his players. And I think that's pretty fantastic because he's kind of his dad was a little bit of a red ass too. If you watch like clips of his dad, he used to get pretty pissed off as well and get really red in the face. He was kind of an angry fella. So definitely the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. You need coaches like that.
So I wonder too, I mean, if the Niners would have won both Super Bowls against the Chiefs, right? I just wonder how different the league, the media, the fans of their perception of Kyle Shanahan would be. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion and he's as good as he is calling plays, being, like an offensive guru. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Even Andy Reid, everyone's like, oh, he's amazing, but like imagine Kyle Shanahan. I mean, he's already. There's some people out there that would say that Kyle is a more of an offensive play calling genius than Andy Reid.
Andy Reid lost big games too in the early 2000s with the Eagles.
He also got his ass whooped against the Eagles.
Yeah, so like people I feel like if Kyle keeps at it, it's going to happen. It will happen. I truly believe it's going to happen.
I hope it does because
it might not happen with the 49ers though, and I hate 49er fans are going to hate me for that, but like that's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like it will go and go and go, and it'll be like, okay, Kyle's time to move on. We've done everything we could, and then he goes and he coaches a team with like an all-star quarterback, and like I don't know. It's just how it works. Sucks that I'm saying that. A lot of people are probably mad about it, but yeah. Gabriel Pereira he's a New Yorker like myself. He said Kyle would have hated Craig's fumble. Oh, no doubt in my mind.
Oh yeah,
but
he been on the sidelines.
That game was lost by the hit Montana took from Leonard Marshall. That essentially ended Montana's career.
Yeah, with the Niners at that point.
CJ Gray, I 100% agree. Hot take in 1992, they should have gave Joe his job back between 92 and 94. He would have beaten the Cowboys 2 out of 3 times and got 6 Super Bowls. Probably. Well, I don't think Steve was ready.
I mean, Steve
then
Young
again,
was
Dallas
really
was
good. He was really good when they had him. He was winning MVPs, at least in the talk, in the running. He was a mobile quarterback. He did a lot of things that, a lot of players and quarterbacks didn't do back then. And he had, I think to this day, he has like the highest quarterback percentage accuracy. He was extremely accurate. So it wasn't like he was a bad quarterback. I just think the difference is that when you compare Joe Montana to Steve Young, I think that when the
Montana
Niners
was so beloved.
Well, but like going against the Cowboys all those years, I think that if you have Joe as your quarterback, then the Cowboys are playing you with the idea of, we got to stop Joe Montana. We can't let Montana beat us. We can't let Montana get the ball back towards the end of the game. He's going to beat. It adds a layer of pressure when you're going against a generational icon, a generational quarterback. Steve Young at the time was a really good quarterback, but he hadn't proven that he could beat you, late in the game, take you down. He didn't have that killer instinct. He wasn't that assassin that Joe Montana was.
Right.
And so it was just, and I'm sorry, I always felt this way, but the Niners were a little more, what do you call it? They were softer with Steve Young. I always felt that way, that they were a little more flashier, a little more, what's the right word when you're not a tough
Finesse?
team? Yeah, they were more of a finesse team. And that's just kind of what it felt like to me back, when you had Joe winning those Super Bowls. You had Roger Craig, you had Ronnie Lott, you had Jerry Rice, you had John Taylor, Rathman. You had a lot of guys out there that were gonna fucking take it to you and didn't give a shit.
They had a really underrated defense, especially in the late 80s with Haley and all those guys. They were really good, actually.
And imagine this, dude. Like, imagine if Joe would have stayed on with San Francisco, right? Just, taking nothing away from Steve Young. But imagine if they went back to Joe Montana and they still got guys, they brought in guys like Terrell Owens. You know what I mean? Actually, that was a little too late. Did the Young play with? Yeah, he did. Because the year that, what's his face was out, J.J. Stokes and Terrell Owens played with Steve Young. That would have been Joe Montana. So that would have been kind of cool to see.
Joe already retired. Joe retired in the 94 after the year.
Huh? He did.
Yeah, the year we won the Super Bowl was his last season. They lost to Miami in the wild card.
But even in that year we won the Super Bowl, in the years that we played the Cowboys, imagine him having Deion Sanders on his team. That's just unstoppable. Like when you say, oh yeah, our quarterback's Joe Montana, and we just added Deion Sanders, that's so much more impactful than saying our quarterback is Steve Young, and we just added Deion Sanders. It's just different. I don't know what it was about Steve Young. To me, it always felt like when we were playing the Cowboys, it felt like Troy Aikman had the advantage over Steve Young.
Definitely.
You know, he had a stronger arm. He just was more of a gunslinger than Steve Young was. And then what's frustrating is that once we got past the Cowboys, then the fucking Packers showed up. And then we couldn't beat the Packers. And then we finally beat the Packers, and then we move on and we get our ass kicked by the fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC title game. Like, ugh. Yeah, it was weird. The whole thing was weird. And I think that, like, their whole thing was, well, Steve's younger. You know what I mean? Like, he could take us a little farther. But, I mean, really, after 94, there wasn't that many more years left of Steve Young. I mean, the year he kept getting concussions. I remember Warren sliding his knee right into his head. Ah!
It was after the 94 season, he got hurt a lot more.
Yeah, he did.
He got a lot more concussions. The Niners got old on defense. They were always really bad in this. Like, their secondary was always bad anytime they played a team like Green Bay.
Yeah,
there was a year that they signed Antonio Langham from the Browns, and he was like one of the worst.
Oh,
he was like the highest price free agent, and he was awful. Then we went and turned Marcus Pope to a corner.
He was a converted safety, and he struggled. Awful.
Then we brought in Kevin Green and Rod Woodson, and we still lost to the Packers that year.
Remember that? Oh,
yeah,
my God.
You had Chris Coleman. We had like Roy Barker. We had like all these old Vikings players. Yeah, the Niners. I mean, hey, tell you what. Again, people want to say what they want to say about. Our old owner couldn't win. Eddie D couldn't win now because of the salary cap. He was a lot like the Rams, man. They went for it every year. Like, he didn't care. He was like, I'll pay for it down the road. It wasn't like this thing like, no, we can't do that. We can't compete this year. It was like, screw it.
Well, even Mooch, Mariucci, he was soft.
Yeah.
I like him, but he was soft.
Our best, we went a long time until we had a guy like Harbaugh, was just a different type of coach.
Oh, my God.
He made the 49ers be like, they were badasses again in that particular era with Seattle.
Well, after Mariucci, it went downhill real hard. And the Niners fans thought they found a gem in Mike Singletary. Boy, that was...
I remember in 2008 when a coworker of mine's like, what do you think about the Singletary hire? And I'm like... And they're like, why? I'm like, because he doesn't really know football other than just being a really good linebacker. Like, he's not football smart.
Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted the Ravens wanted him. I think it was the Giants wanted. Like, all these teams wanted Mike Singletary, and he was he wasn't a D coordinator. I think he was like a defensive line coach or a linebackers coach or some shit. And he was the interim coach, and then they made him the head coach. And, you know, I think he could have been a good head coach, but you had to surround him with fucking really good coordinators, and they just didn't do that. I mean, Denise DeBartolo and her husband, the doctor, you know, they brought in, I forgot the guy's name. He was the linebackers coach of the Steelers to be our D coordinator. The guys just weren't good enough. And, when you don't have a guy like Kyle Shanahan, or like a Mike Holmgren, you got to have really good coordinators around you. That's why, like, Dan Campbell, he'll be good as long as you surround him with really good offensive and defensive coordinators.
Plus, Trey, I take all that rah-rah stuff, you know, like biting kneecaps. It gets old after a while with older players, like veteran players. That stuff, like, you can't, it's like trying to hype people up and all like big speeches and, like, I'm the type of person, like, I'm old enough now, like, when you're at work, you just want a good manager. I don't care anything else other than, can that person run the show and control the employees underneath them and have a functioning, non-toxic work environment.
Well,
all that yelling and screaming crap, who cares? That's why I think Harbaugh wore thin with the 49ers. Player-wise and front office. It was a short-term thing. It was never going to be long-term.
Well, and if you look at the names that came after Mariucci, right? I think, hey, Peter Parker, Singletary, Nolan, Tom Sula, and fucking Potato Chip Kelly. Just fucking terrible.
Now, I would say Christ after? Where?
He's saying Jesus Christ.
I was like, really? When did I miss that year that he was coaching?
But I mean, out of all four of those coaches, Singletary, Nolan, Tom Sula, and Kelly, I would say I think Mike Nolan probably had the most potential to do something different. I'll say this. I'll say this. In his 4 years, I think it was 4 years he was with the Niners, I thought that Mike Nolan had the best. He was really good at drafting players. You know, he drafted really good Patrick Willis, and he drafted good-ass fucking players on defense. So he was always good about doing that. But the problem is that he couldn't really do much more than that. And he was our GM as well. He was coaching GM. Like, what in the world?
No, we had a GM. I forget his name.
Well, they had I forgot his name too. The guy who he was like alcoholic. He later went to the Chiefs, the Redskins.
Yeah, he had like there was a picture of him with like really. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But he was very good at identifying talent, especially in the draft. And with those two together, they had really good drafts. I remember the only first round draft pick that they fucking busted on was that guy Keenton Balmer. That guy sucked. But everybody else they drafted was fucking really good. I was like, man, these guys know how to draft.
There's like Quinton Balmer, Reggie McGrew.
McGrew.
What is it? R.W. McQuarters.
R.W. McQuarters, the corner.
I remember that. I remember because I had a neighbor. I live in this townhouse complex. Me and my neighbor, he was a DJ. He used to like DJ out of his garage. He was a huge 49ers fan. He would like, it was a rainy day. I went up and got the newspaper after the first round of the draft. And me and him were talking about this R.W. McQuarters guy. Like he was going to be some player. Turned out to be nothing but poop.
Yeah, he sucked.
Dog water.
He eventually left too.
Yeah. I wanted to get into the, a little bit of the end of the year awards. Of course, we all know that Shanahan got snubbed. He did not get Coach of the Year. That
Manny
went
Lawson.
to
Remember Manny
Lawson. Yeah, I remember Manny Lawson.
I was like, wasn't this guy supposed to be good? But they had some good, like Alex Smith. I love Alex Smith, but fucking
Terry Donahue. Yeah, was it Terry Donahue? No, it was somebody else.
What?
Scott McLaughlin. Yes.
Yes, that's what it is. Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, Terry Donahue was another. I forget who he was.
Oh, he was terrible. Terry Donahue sucked. He was like, oh, I'm from USC. And he is the one who drafted. Oh fuck, what was his name? It was a receiver that was just fucking terrible.
It was a year after we got rid of T.O.
Was it Rashawn Woods? Was that his name?
Woods. Never. I don't think he ever touched the field, bro.
It was him, and then he did AJ something. Or maybe it was AJ. I forgot. This thing only goes back 25 draft picks, and it just
what
stops.
Year?
It was before 2005. I can tell you that. Let me see if I can find it. But he drafted some players that were just fucking terrible, awful players. I remember thinking, I was like, man, this guy sucks. Gotta get rid of him, and they did.
Scary.
But you were talking about the awards.
Yeah, Shanahan does not win Coach of the Year, but I mean, they say it's a year-end award, like during the regular season, but I think it always has to do with if a team's in the Super Bowl or you've coached your team to the Super Bowl. So I had no.
AJ Jenkins, thank you.
AJ Jenkins, yeah, he was another horrible
That was
player.
a Terry Donahue draft pick. Guy was fucking terrible. I was like, I mean, he makes Ricky Pearsall look like fucking Randy Moss. You know what I mean? You're just like, fuck.
AJ Jenkins, man, that's bad.
AJ Jenkins, man. Oh my God. That was awful. I remember thinking, I was like, dude, we just got a receiver. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, we didn't get the Shanahan did not get Coach of the Year, but Christian McCaffrey did get Comeback Player of the Year, and he had a nice award. He had like a nice little interview or what do you call speech after winning the award.
2025 AP Comeback Player of the Year is Christian McCaffrey.
Oh man, it's a huge honor. Anytime you have to come back from injuries, it's extremely tough physically, emotionally, mentally. And, I feel so blessed that I didn't have to do it alone. Every one of those guys that were nominated knows that. You guys all deserve to be up here as well. Found a lot of inspiration through you guys throughout the year, so congratulations to you. But I'm so blessed to have the biggest support system on the planet. All the trainers, body work, maintenance staff that worked with me nonstop this offseason. Appreciate you guys more than you know. All the behind the scenes people. It takes a village, and you guys were at the forefront. My coaches, Kyle, Bobby T, John, Jed, thanks for continuing to believe in me. Appreciate you guys. My teammates, this was one of the specialist teams I've ever been a part of. You guys gave me inspiration every single day to keep going. The energy in the locker room, everything. I love you guys. Share this with you. And then, my family, my mom, my dad. You guys are my inspiration. Mom, I love you to death. Appreciate you more than you know. Dad, you've been the best mentor for all of us. My brothers, my 3 brothers, love them. Wouldn't be standing up here if it weren't for them. My wife, Olivia, you were my rock this entire year. Thank you so much for sticking with me, supporting me better than I could ever imagine. And then my superpower, my new daughter, Colette. You don't understand this now, but I love you and appreciate you more than you know. And last but not least, I want to thank God. Got me through a lot of dark days in my faith. Kept me going, kept me up every single day. So appreciate you guys and have a great night. God bless.
Nothing really bad you can say about Christian McCaffrey, bro.
No, well deserved, dude. And for everyone who's like, oh, he had over 400 touches. He's gonna break that, dude. The guy's incredible. Just let that sink in. This is a generational talent, and this guy's doing things that other players just can't do.
And then we had people in the off season or before the season, certain creators taking shots at him. They're not 49er fans. They're grifters and stuff. Yeah, he took a step back. Maybe he's not as quick anymore, but he was one of the most, if not the most important part of our offense this year, considering just how many injuries we sustained across the board on offense and on defense. I would love to see going forward on Dre that they start to put some players around him to start to lighten the load. So we got a lot of aging players on our offense, and the Niners have to start looking to the future and start kind of insulating these older players with younger players that can take snaps. I know it's like, you don't want to take snaps from certain guys. If it means elongating their career and having them stay a 49er for a little bit longer, then so be it. So really, really, that was an awesome Hall of Fame speech. That was an awesome speech. He's one of my favorite players, if not. It's like him, Purdy, and Fred. Those are my guys. I love everybody, but those particular 3 are my faves.
Well, and I think, when you look at trying to surround him with more running backs, or you don't say more, you say a second complimentary running back. There's talk that, David Montgomery might be a cap casualty for the Lions. I would bring him in here on a 1-year, 2-year deal as fast as I possibly could. David Montgomery would be a great running back next to Christian McCaffrey. But you got to have something like that. You can't go into next season and say, oh, hey, Christian, don't worry. We got Jordan James. He's ready to step up. He looked good in the few carries he got when we got our ass kicked against Seattle. No. You got to bring in somebody else. Jordan James should have played this season. Brian Robinson did a good job, but they're not going to bring him back. And I don't think Brian Robinson wants to be a backup, but who knows? Crazier things have happened. But if a guy like David Montgomery becomes available, I would be all over that. Yes, he's 28, but if you're only signing him to a 1-year deal to come play for San Francisco, that's, to me, that would be a huge benefit for the Niners.
He had McCaffrey this year, scrimmage yards, 2,126, 1,200 rushing, 924 receiving. He had 413 touches.
That's a lot.
That needs to drop by about 250 for next season.
You would think, right? But, look, we saw what he did this season, big numbers, completely revitalized the Niners offense. When we didn't have him last season, we saw a completely different offense.
Yeah.
We saw Deebo Samuel landing up in the backfield for a lot of the plays that McCaffrey was supposed to be in.
Right.
And what's his face? the other running back we had,
Jordan Mason.
Jordan Mason. He did a good job. I mean, he was at one point he was leading the league in rushing, but it just didn't work out after a while. And you notice too that Kyle, he was getting a little tired of him.
Kyle falls in and out of love with players, Dre, very fast.
Very fast. He was like, "What are you doing? Stop it." So you got to be careful with that. Garendo, he showed some flashes, but where was he at this season? Nowhere. We saw him return some kicks early on. Goodbye.
We saw Jordan James in the last game of the year. Why?
I think Garendo is, I don't know. I don't know what he is. He's, I don't know.
Larry Krueger seems to think he's a fullback. He doesn't think he's
not
a
a
running
fullback. He's not. And then there's talk. Well, then there's all this talk about, oh, maybe the Niners bring back Deebo Samuel. Like, I mean,
oh my God,
do we want to go there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a clip where I think Larry was talking about it. It was like Deebo and Dre Greenlaw. It's like no. Stop with the like looking in the past and being like, oh, he did great things for us. We need to get younger and faster everywhere.
Well, let me ask you this. If you had a choice, and they said, hey, Aaron, we have a choice right now. We can either bring back one of the two. It would be Deebo or Dre Greenlaw.
Greenlaw,
who would you want?
Second. Greenlaw is second.
Dre Greenlaw. I'd be like, do it now. He's another guy that
he's going to get hurt, but he's going to give you a couple games where he's going to hurt somebody on the other team. So,
but again, he might be another cap casualty as well. They're paying him a lot of money, and he barely even fucking played. Yeah. I don't think he will be, but if he is, the Niners should jump in and say, "Hey, let's bring you back." But,
no, that's what I was saying, Gabriel. He did. He actually was saying no. That's what I meant. That's what I was saying.
But Deebo, like I know that McCaffrey recently spoke on Deebo, saying how he'd love to have him back. He misses him. He's a great playmaker. All those guys are going to say, yeah, bring him back. We love Deebo. But to me, like the ship has sailed on that already. And you need to get faster and younger at the receiver position. Bringing back Deebo is going backwards.
Yep.
And that's not what we need right now. Like, look, I love Deebo, but
49ers in the mid 80s, they transitioned by the time they got to late 80s, guys like Dwight Clark were gone and other guys were gone and other players became stars. It's hard to say goodbye to players that did a lot for you, but
exactly.
If you want to continue to be good and compete, you need to develop and draft and sign new stars.
Yeah.
You can't depend on a 30-something-year-old running back, a 30-something-year-old tight end, a defensive end who's had 3 massive knee injuries in his career. Like, you got to start figuring out ways to get talent on this team that's young, fresh. Like, it's great. We all love these guys. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a 49er fan, and, like, I want what's best for the team. And if that means saying goodbye to certain players eventually, I know there's been, like, Bosa trade talk or whatever. Down the line, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. If Bosa keeps becoming like a someone who continues to get injured, I hate to say it, but I would contemplate or at least think about moving off of someone like him. I don't want to. I freaking love Nick Bosa, but you have to be real with yourself as a fan, and they need to be real with themselves as an organization. What do you want more?
He's got 2 more years. If he comes back and he fucking dominates, everyone's gonna be like, dude, re-up, hurry. It's just a matter. It's a matter of his production. And before he went out, I think he went out in week 2.
Bosa?
Yeah,
it was week 3.
Week 3, but even at week 3, before he went out, we were like, dude, Bosa is on a tear right now. He's gonna, he's gonna tear some shit up. Instead, he tore his ACL. But
yeah, nothing got torn except his knee.
His knee. That's it. And who knows if he doesn't get hurt, and we had him all year. This whole team could have had a different mentality altogether.
Yeah, if him and Michael and Fred stayed healthier, I don't know if they'd still have an incredible defense because they just don't have enough players. But to say that it would have been what it was, I think it would have been totally different. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's over with. There's nothing we can do about it.
Well, like we were saying, the Niners need to get younger, right? And they're trying to. I'll give them that. They are trying to. That's why they're investing in these in their draft picks, which they should be, because the NFL has become a sport in which you have to invest in your draft picks.
And you got to hit on your draft picks too.
You got to. You got to hit, but like you have to. Those are so valuable now. Back in the early '90s, late '80s, I just didn't give a shit about draft picks. They're like, what? Oh yeah, we'll draft some guys, but we're just whoever we want, we're gonna go sign them. You know what I mean? And so now it's like, hey, you have to build through the draft, and not just like, oh, you got to build for to get that new 4-year window. No, you have to build. You have to draft smart every single year to keep your team relevant. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They're drafting last in every first round, in every round, and they were still winning Super Bowls, still being competitive. It's crazy, but you got to find ways to do it. Xavier Worthy, they got him at the end of the first round. Guy's a burner. Guy's good. We took Ricky Pearsall. Yep. I still think Pearsall could be really good. He showed flashes of it. He's just got to stay healthy. But
yeah, he's posting videos. Me and Mike.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, dude, I wanted to be like, dude, just take that shit down.
He's got you guys have saw the videos of him dancing, and then he posted another one where he's in like a gas mask or a.
Did you know this?
I have nothing to say.
Did you know that Christian McCaffrey was only 2 votes shy of winning the Offensive Player of the Year?
No, I did not know that.
You know who won that?
Hit me up. What is it?
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
He's a really good player.
He's really good. But
I'm telling you, it's always about the team that's in the Super Bowl. That always seems to lean that way.
Smith-Njigba is the kind of receiver that the Niners would dream of having.
Yeah, he's a 49ers wet dream, guys.
He's an excellent route runner. He's fast.
And then we
finds those soft spots. He does all the things that Kyle would love his guys to do.
Yep.
And
then we have Ricky P.
Yeah. Puka Nacua also. But and Nakua's bigger than JSN. And you can't stop. You know the ball's going there. You can't stop it, though. It's crazy.
That's a scary offense, the Rams, even though they lost. It's just like.
And they could have won that game, too. But here's the other thing, too. So, the Seahawks are doing really good. The Rams are doing really good. They've invested and hit on their draft picks. Same with Philly. And that's what the Niners, they didn't hit on their draft picks. They were more like, hey, let's give up 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. And that completely fucked them.
Strawberry, I feel the same way as you do. He definitely deserved it.
Yeah,
I was just having this conversation with my brother before the stream. I said, Jared, so the Niners biffed this year, the draft. They biffed the draft and they somehow screw up in free agency. I said, he's like, John needs to go. And I was like, he does. Like, you're not going to fire Kyle, but we've reached a point with the 49ers now, Dre, where the uncomfortable conversations that a lot of us have been putting off for years because we were like, oh, what are you idiots talking about? John and Kyle are amazing. It's time to start having those difficult conversations. If they miss the draft again this year, and last year's draft turns out to be a bust, something has to give, and that would be probably John Lynch's job. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't hit on these draft picks and they have a disappointing season next season, then I think that, John Lynch, something may happen there, but we'll see. I don't know. It's too early to tell at this point, but I think he would be on a hotter seat than Kyle Shanahan, and that's for sure, especially after the season that Kyle Shanahan had. And he didn't win Coach of the Year, but I'm telling you right now, if they would have beaten the Seahawks, he would have had to have beaten the Seahawks and the Rams. Yeah. And Mike Vrabel would have had to have lost to the Houston Texans. Then Kyle Shanahan would have won Coach of the Year.
Yeah,
but he didn't. So it is what
I want to ask you a question about something that I asked Mike about on Monday. Just based on all the back and forth with the substation and the 31 years without a championship, blah blah blah, Eddie D. Do you think Jed York is a complacent owner? Or do you think that he really does want to win and in Super Bowl or bust is still his mentality? Like, where do you sit with Jed York?
I think he still does want to win. He's at a point now where, he's very concerned about his money, how it's being utilized, how it's being spent. And I think before, when he was younger, he was sort of like, hey, you want that? Fuck it, let's go for it. Let's go for it. And they haven't won the big game. And so,
CJ Gray, thank you for your comment.
And so, yeah, he wants to make money. So as long as he's making money, I think he's happy. Is he complacent? I don't know. I think this past year, having to put restrictions on how much they were spending, that fucking sucked. Because the Niners have been a team where it's like, hey, let's go out and get an impact player. Filthy casual fan says, if they can't hit on these draft picks, why not trade them for an impact vet? And I think in years past, that's what they would have done.
The Rams are doing. The Rams were forced a couple years ago to finally hit in the draft, and they did.
They did.
But they were trading away picks like they had diseases. Like, oh my God, get this pick away from me.
But I mean, the Niners need to hit on these picks because they need to add depth. And this is the beginnings of adding that depth. Upton Stout, CJ West, Alfred Collins. Those are guys that are mainstays. Those are guys that are difference makers.
Yep.
Yeah, they're difference makers. And you already have Diamador Lenore. I don't think that Renardo Green's going anywhere. I think he got mad at him for something he did, but I don't think it's like, all right, let's get rid of him. Let's trade him. I don't think so. He's still under contract. He's still on a rookie deal.
Jed is happy with second place trophy.
He is because it makes him money. As long as they're competitive, it's all he cares about.
I get a lot of grief from 49er fans that are younger than me, and you could tell that they're younger because they criticize my Super Bowl or bust mentality, and they're like, "Oh, but we did what like the whole thing of us how we did this year and with all the injuries and stuff. Yeah, it was really commendable, right? And it was a great thing. They didn't quit, but you don't try to sell me it more than what it is. Like, stop. Winning a championship is the goal. It's always the goal.
It's always the goal.
And I hate this thing where like you have to feel bad for expecting that and being disappointed and calling out your owner or calling out your coach or whatever. Like, it was never like this. When we were winning and everybody was happy, none of our fans said, man, it's okay if we lose to Dallas in the conference championship game for a third year in a row. I still love the team. Like, no, 49er fans were hot. They were starting to get restless with Steve Young. Like, I just don't understand what changed in the fan base. I think it is a lot of Gen Z fans that just never experienced winning championships. So being second place is okay for them. I don't know. I don't believe it. I have a real problem with that. People give me a ton of grief, but I'm not going to change. It's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just, I always look at it like, hey, look, we're the fucking 49ers. We're supposed to be Super Bowl contenders every year. Like, I'm sorry, that's just the mentality I have. Like, you can't just go out there and be like, oh, we're just all right. No. I don't want that.
Mike, he said, what up, guys?
What up?
Jed York was asked about the promotion of Al Guido. He said, I want to focus on bigger things. He's like, what the fuck is bigger than winning the effing Super Bowl? He's trying to build a sports, what do you say, a sports empire? Yeah, I don't know, man. That Eddie D soundbite where Eddie was like, how would you deal with not winning in 31 years? And Eddie essentially said, I wouldn't. That is the difference, guys.
He wouldn't. He would just find a way.
Yeah, I just wish there was a way to build a time machine or something and stop him from doing that gambling thing in New Orleans. And
but like we said, it was a different league then anyway, so it is what it is.
But I think he would have found out a way to be successful even in this league. I truly believe that. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. Super Bowl predictions.
Ooh.
Two things. The Niners are playing overseas in Australia next year. What do you think about that real quick?
No, I fucking hate it. You want to know why?
Me too.
Because that means that 1 week next season, I got to get up at fucking 2 a.m. to go watch them play football? I want to
It's
fucking
true.
do that. I want to watch
Oh,
him fucking. And I tell you what, if that's a fucking
Oh.
home game, I'm pissed. They're gonna take away a home. Yeah, I don't even know if it's a home game. If it's a home game, then it becomes an away game. Like fuck that. And it's against the Rams. A game in which.
And we're already the most injured team every single year. Nothing says injuries like traveling across the world.
And they're saying that this could be a week 1 game. In Australia, you're gonna make me fucking get up early in the morning to go watch my fucking Niners that early? I fucking hope not.
You imagine waking up early and then they lose and you're like, I hate my life.
Well, but here's the thing though. When it comes to Australia, they're like, I forgot how many hours ahead they are, but like 11 o'clock at night is about 6 p.m. over there. So you got to figure when are they actually going to play? It's probably going to be a primetime game. It has to be. Otherwise, it's like, what are we doing?
For me,
I
it
was
might.
pissed. I was like, I don't
it
wanna
would
do
be
this
like
shit.
it would be, and then there's the whole Mexico. They were talking about teams playing multiple teams. I just don't understand. It's WWE. Just like they built a stadium for a freaking pay-per-view with the Royal Rumble over in like what was it like? I don't even know what part of the world it was. Somewhere in the Middle East. They built a stadium in like a week or 3 months for a pay-per-view. It's crazy.
Let's see. Let me check real quick. Where's my cursor at? Let's look up current time. Come on, fucking this thing won't highlight. Current time in Australia. Let's see what it says. We'll see the hour difference. It's 10:07 a.m. There you go. So you want to watch a game, it's probably going to be a 5 o'clock game. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock local time. I mean, right? Or is it going to be a game where it's you can't do a night game there because it's like, and that's what I hate about the games that are in like Germany and shit. I'll wake up and it's like already the third quarter. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we doing this for?
Yeah, and especially if you're like someone who works overnights.
Yeah, you're fucked.
You're not going to wake up in the middle of the night to watch a game. As much as I love my team, I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. to watch a game. It's just not going to happen. And then you can't even cheer because you're like, for you have kids and a wife, maybe a dog. You can't go, yeah, in the middle of the night, right? So,
yeah, right. You know, but I would hope it's something like that where it's like a Sunday night game in Australia, 12 o'clock. And, you know, who the fuck knows? Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah. And then there's Mexico City, which is essentially a 49ers home game. But
yeah,
we got 9 months to worry about it. Last
I'm not worried
thing,
about it.
let's talk about the stupid Super Bowl. Give our predictions. I don't really care. I mean, I do care who wins, but I don't. It's the most boring Super Bowl. And the halftime show is a whole other thing that you can talk about, but I won't talk about it here. Let's go predictions for the Super Bowl. Dre, I'll let you go first.
Well, why don't you go first?
This is less of a prediction and more of a wish. I'm going to say the Patriots win the game 27. Actually, no, because the Seattle's defense is good. I'm going to say 24-16. Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks. And Mr. Sam Darnold turns into the pumpkin himself and throws 3 interceptions in the Super Bowl.
I would love that. I would love it.
And that's my pick.
It's my turn?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to say Patriots.
Okay.
I'm going to go, let's go Patriots. Fuck those Seahawks.
Win your 7th before we win our 6th. Yeah.
Yeah, Patriots. I want the Patriots to win. I want them to win big. I would love for them to kick the shit out of the Seahawks. Will they? Probably not. If I had to pick a winner of this game, I would say if I had to predict the winner, I hate saying this, but Seahawks are probably going to win this game 28-19.
Yeah, my heart wants the Patriots, but
I'm gonna go even worse than that. 28-13.
You know, I was thinking the same thing when you were about to say it. So
It's like one of those games where it's like, third down, May throws. That's incomplete. It's another turnover. Here comes the punting unit, where they just can't get anything going. You're just like, oh, no, fuck.
yeah, it sucks. It really sucks. But, yeah. But as soon as the game ends, the offseason begins. Might not really be too content heavy in the next couple weeks. But definitely once the combine and free agency, all that stuff starts to heat up, things are definitely going to heat up on the news front with content.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on next week if we're streaming. Just like I said, it's
Probably
getting slow, but I'm sure one of you guys can pick up some topics. But go ahead.
I mean, it would like the greatest feeling on earth would be watching the Seahawks lose at Levi's Stadium. Like, ha ha, you got there and you fucking lost.
But then like we would be the 49er fans that Seahawks would come into the stream and be like, at least we made
a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you fucking losers.
You freaking losers, you're cheering us. Woo! Yeah, I know. Exactly.
And you know what? If the Seahawks lose, they would have lost back-to-back Super Bowls. Because the last time they were there, they lost.
Yep.
To the Patriots.
Would it be something if they go in for the score again?
Oh, I know.
And
this time they run it and they get stuffed.
Yeah, they get stuck, or he fumbles into the end zone or something. Yeah. Strawberry React says, you think to hear more of about the Mac Jones trade heading in the combine?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
He's gone.
Aaron, just let us know you're alive in the off season. Yeah, well, I got real pouty after the Super Bowl loss a couple years ago. I was like, I'm done making content. I was so depressed. That was hard for me. I was really depressed after that game. But I'll be alive during the off season. Trust me. I can't. You guys can't go out without me complaining for like more than 48 hours. So till next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy. Try to be safe this weekend if you're going to watch a Super Bowl party. Don't drink and drive. Hopefully the weather gets better wherever you are in the United States. Until next time, everyone, be good. Go Niners. And we'll talk to you guys on the other side.